All right. So welcome everybody to our April Field Day. We have students joining us today from Tehama County, from the North State region, as well as Kern County. So we're well represented across the state, which is really awesome. Romy Wattenbarger, my coworker, is with us, and she is our Kern County coordinator. So we're happy to have them join us here. We recently had a field day with OMC, so that's kind of great. We saw the harvesting equipment side of things, and now we're going to get to see a little bit more about actually the processing side. So thank you to Andersen and Sons for hosting us for this field day. I'm excited. Hopefully all the students have their kits handy because we're going to do our hands-on activity a little later. But first, we're going to start because we have a lovely guest today, Jennifer Williams, who's joining us from the Walnut Board and Commission. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her kind of talk to you a little bit about their role in the industry and kind of what the importance of the Walnut Board is for our industry partners. So Jennifer, if I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I know that a lot of you don't really understand what like a board and commission does maybe. So if you think about almost any food you eat, there's probably some sort of commodity organization behind it that promotes that product in general. So we promote walnuts in general, but for example, there is a California Strawberry Commission. They promote strawberries. There's an organization in Nebraska that promotes corn from Nebraska. There's just all kinds of organizations just like that. And here in California, we're really, really fortunate to have a lot of specialty crops like walnuts, almonds, pistachios, peaches, strawberries, artichokes, spinach. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we're really fortunate to live here where there's so many yummy, yummy foods grown right in our backyard. So the Walnut Board and Commission promote walnuts here in the US, as well as around the world. We have marketing programs in a few key target markets such as Japan, Korea, Turkey, but here in the US as well as overseas, our job is basically to increase demand with consumers for California walnuts. And we do that through a variety of methods. We do health research through the commission to educate consumers on the many health benefits of walnuts. Walnuts are super good for you. And we do marketing, we do advertising, digital, social, print, television, all kinds of marketing and advertising to really educate consumers about, hey, did you know that walnuts can be used in more than just a brownie? You can make a really yummy walnut meat. Okay, show of hands. And this is like to see if you're paying attention, you can hear me. Who's heard of Lizzo? Anybody's heard of Lizzo, the singer? Yeah, she recently did a really fun TikTok where she showed this Brussels sprout nachos with walnut meat. And we were like so excited about that. We're like, you can't pay, well, you can pay for that, but we don't have the money to pay for something like that. So we were super excited. So getting walnuts like out of just a traditional brownie and into something like a walnut meat where that's like more savory and the center of the plate, like an entree, as opposed to a dessert, that's really something that we strive to do. So really just encouraging consumers to use walnuts in new ways, whether that's here in the US or around the world, and to let consumers know all about their health benefits as well. So that's the short version. The board and commission also do some work behind the scenes, grades and standards and food safety, making sure all the walnuts that you eat are safe and making sure that they get inspected and sending out reports and all kinds of other boring stuff that I'm sure you don't care about. But there's that means basically there's all kinds of jobs in agriculture that don't actually involve going out into an orchard and shaking a tree or harvesting food. There's accounting, there's marketing, there's all kinds of stuff involved in agriculture that you can get involved in. So that's pretty much my spiel.
Excellent. That was wonderful, Jennifer. So just a quick question for you to tell students. how long have you been working for the Walnut Board and Commission, and what exactly is your position?
Oh, sorry, I should have started with that.
That's okay.
I've been working for the California Walnut Board and Commission for 11 years. I started out on the international side working with our export markets, and now I work on domestic marketing. I work on all of the, well, I have a colleague, she and I share roles here in the US, but we work on all things domestic marketing, whether that's talking to health professionals, social media, all that advertising and stuff I talked to you about, we handle all of that here in the US.
Excellent. Well, wonderful. Well, I'm so happy to have you join us today. And hopefully this will just be the segue into maybe us getting to have a full field day that showcases the Walnut Board and Commission sometime. So thank you. And I hope that you enjoy this and, joining our first Farm Skill Day here. So Karen, I'm going to turn it over to you. So students, this is Karen Andersen, and she is head of grower relations for Andersen and Son Shelling, and they are located in Vina, California. So those of you up here, kind of North State, will know that's kind of between Las Molinas and Chico, I guess is the best description of where that is, off Highway 99 over there. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself and your coworker there, and then let me know if you when you want me to play the video.
Okay, hello everyone. So like Dana said, my name's Karen Gunderson. I've been working here since 2014. We tried to pick a really quiet location, so at this time, I'm sorry if you hear some background noise. But I work mainly with the growers, the quality of their product before it goes to processing, how the growers are paid and paying the growers, and then dabble in a little bit of R&D. Let's see what else. Events, when we had a lot of our outdoor events, that was a lot of fun. And I think that's about it. My coworker here is Kristen.
Hi everyone. My name is Kristen. I'm going into my 4th harvest this year. Karen actually hired me. I started out in grower relations and then moved over to food safety. From there, I am now marketing and customer relations. My background is in olive oil and olives as marketing director there. My role here has changed a lot, but because of that, I'm able to be resourceful and push things to consumers and have knowledge behind that because of the growth of the company and my roles in each of those areas. I do want to point out that I don't have a college degree to be in marketing and design. I started out learning about graphic design and photography in high school, and that's where I've really just flourished throughout my entire career. And now I'm at a upper management position without having to go to classrooms. So that's my background.
Well, thank you, Kristen. She's pretty amazing. If you could see the work that she does, her artwork is displayed in major retail stores that all of you are very familiar with. So to have that ability to grow within our company and so quickly because of her drive and desire to want to grow, we have those opportunities here. I got lucky. I came from a banking world, and when they hired me, I knew nothing about walnuts. And then all of a sudden I had to become an expert at walnuts. And they took the time to train me. And I've been here for over 7 years now. I absolutely love it. I love working in ag. And they're stuck with me. So anyways, what we're going to do to start our day is we're going to show you a quick 10-minute, well, it's not quick, but it's 10 minutes. It's a video that shows the process. So you saw how the trees can be shaken or shook with OMC's equipment, and we'll show you a little bit of that, but then we're going to go into the entire process of our facility. since we are on such a time crunch, we won't be able to go to every building to show you all the new and great things. Since that video, we've changed so many things. But we are going to show you some of the processing side, our pasteurizer, the retail side, and then we'll get into my office where we'll do the activities of more of the things that I work with during harvest and with the growers. So you'll see a little bit of what I do on a different scale. So we'll go ahead and start the video, and then we'll go from there.
Well, my dad started the farm in '44. I was born. When I was young, we did everything, but it just progressed over time as things went on, like everything does. He built it up into 300 acres. When my boys graduated from college, why then they started the shelling operation at that time.
At Andersen and Sons, our ranch works hard to maintain each field throughout the year. We take this time to evaluate every tree and assess its needs. In the spring, the trees are pruned to promote optimal growth, which will result in a better quality tree that will be given the best chance to produce a high walnut yield for many years. After the walnut hulls have cracked, they are ready to harvest. The shakers gently shake each tree. Tell when someone is shaking by the clouds of dust rising from the trees. From there, sweepers come in, pick up the walnuts, and move them into windrows. Lastly, the harvesters move in, driving over the windrows, scooping up the walnuts, and unloading them into a bankout. The walnuts are unloaded onto a conveyor belt that transfers them from a bankout to a trailer. This trailer will then take the walnuts to a huller to be cleaned and then dried. The trailers drive over the huller pit to be unloaded. Up they go onto another conveyor belt while production workers pick out foreign material. As the hulls separate from the walnut in the huller drum, they are cleaned and moved to one more sorting table so defective walnuts can be pulled. Wet, clean nuts are moved into metal dryer bins, and each load is kept together. When the walnuts are dried to an 8% moisture level, they are removed from the metal bins onto a conveyor belt and loaded into one more trailer. The dried walnuts are unloaded into another pit to be put in bins and stored until they are ready to be processed. Each bin is tagged with a lot number, variety, and grower code. Each bin can be easily traced throughout the warehouses by pulling up the lot number recorded in our database. Random samples of each lot of dried walnuts received are graded by the in-shell graders. 100 nuts are individually cracked out, and the kernels are evaluated for quality and color. A picture is taken of the completed sample, and the kernels are retained. From this process, we are able to give that lot an edible yield percentage, the value of that lot. When a customer orders walnut product, they either request in-shell or kernels. For kernels, the walnuts are unloaded into the sheller to have the shells taken off. When the shell is removed, the shaker removes any remaining shell, and the kernels are stored in bins. The kernels are transferred to the laser sorter. This sorter can size each kernel and puts them into bins accordingly. Each bin is taken to the sorting tables for a final quality check. These highly trained individuals meticulously look for imperfections that may compromise the overall quality of an order. Quality control inspects each order to be sure that our customers' products meet our company's highest specifications. The kernels are boxed, sealed, stamped with a pack date, and ran through our X-ray system that can detect if any foreign material is in the box. The boxes continue to ride up on the conveyor belt, where they will be stacked onto pallets and shrink wrapped. The in-shell nuts are sized and sent down the conveyor to fill up 50-pound sacks. They are stacked on a palletizer and shrink wrapped. The retail line offers our customers the ability to have their order custom packed into smaller quantities, like these pouches that are ready to be placed on a store shelf. We ship out walnuts both domestically and across the world. When an order is ready for pickup, our custom boxes are either loaded by pallets or hand-stacked into the trailer. The trailer or container is locked and sealed. A final weight out is recorded. Proper documentation is handed over to the driver, and the walnuts leave our facility, ready to be placed on shelves in bulk bins for consumers to enjoy. It takes a team of dedicated employees to process over 20,000 acres to create the high-quality product that we are known for and that has brought this company success for many years.
They made it work. They did it, and that's my biggest joy, is them being here and doing what they have done. And I hope that it will continue, and I hope the grandkids, as they grow up and work right into the operation. You know, I can't ask for anything better than that.
This is the story of the walnut, the story of Andersen and Sons Shelling.
All right. Am I frozen? My face looks frozen. Can you see me okay?
I can see you. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Okay, great. I just am frozen to myself. So as long as you guys can. So that is a great video to show you so many different parts of our company that you're not going to be able to see. Also, if you noticed how many people were involved, from the field to the process to getting the walnuts into the trucks and out. And that's just one part of it. There's also the office staff and everything that goes from all the accounting departments to IT to the marketing, like what Kristen does. I mean, it is a very large operation, and there's just so many things that takes a bunch of people with unique and creative ideas to put together to do what it is that we do here. So we're going to go ahead and take off. Hopefully it's not too bumpy or too windy, and I'm squinting because it's sunny. But Dana, do you have any questions for us while we're out and about?
Not quite yet, but I am going to remind the students that if they have questions, you can either unmute yourself and politely interrupt and go ahead and ask, or if you type it into the chat box, we can come back to it. So as they pop into your head, definitely ask them. I guess, well, here's a question. So it said that you guys harvest in the video about 20,000 acres. How many acres is the facility there that is the processing side of things?
That's a great question. I'm
Do you
not
know?
100% sure because
We're losing you a little bit.
It's over a mile, and we have all kinds of things happening. So where we're going is into processing, and I'm going to have Kristen stop in here for a second before we get too deep into it because it's very, very loud. I'm probably going to go ahead and put you on mute when we get into that. Also, we are following our good pasturing practices house here. There are forklift drivers everywhere, always looking for people to drive the forklifts. So what we're going to go see is the processing side. So the walnuts come from the and then to see how the nuts are sized. We are going to see how they are sorted and then packaged and ready for shipping in a bulk box before we go over to retail, where we do more customizable retail bags. So we're going to go ahead and go inside. Like I said, there is lots of craziness going on all the time. So you see the forklift drivers. There's lots of beeping. So every time a forklift is coming around a corner, they have to honk their horn. It's a safety feature. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Take off. We're going to cautiously take off because we can hear them. If you see this, we have more of our product going by. It's a madhouse, I tell you. It's organized chaos. How about that? We love it. We all love it so much. So anyways, we're winding our way through some bins. We're headed over to the product. As you can see, it's starting to get really loud. Here, let me flip you around. Can you see everything, Dana?
Yes. And students, if you pin Karen's video, you'll be able to see it a little bit bigger for yourselves. But it is very impressive. I'm sad that we're doing this virtually and not in person, because it's always so impressive to be there actually in person and seeing things. So again, if you see things and you have questions about, go ahead and type them in that chat box. And when Karen comes out of the building, we can talk about it a little bit more. Yeah, well, you're on mute, Karen, so. We can't hear anything either from your end. I don't think she realizes she's muted herself, but there you go. You guys can see those were in-shell walnuts.
So I happen to know a little bit about what's going on. Those are the sizers, and it's shaped like an upside down V with the bigger ones falling in at the top, the smaller ones falling through at the top and the bigger ones going through at the bottom, so that they go into the appropriate size cracker so that they can get cracked out. And that is all of the stuff that comes out of the cracker, the nuts, the shell, everything. And then it goes onto a set of shaker decks. And the goal here is to shake out all of the shells and leave the walnut pieces. And then they get sized again. There's another set of rollers where the nuts are getting sized again.
Look at, I'm so glad, Jennifer, you didn't even know you were going to get to be half the tour, but I'm so glad you're on here with us.
I've been on a couple of these tours in 11 years.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
So yeah, it is very, very noisy in these. You can barely hear yourself think.
Right. Well, and students, as we're kind of looking and walking through this facility, one thing I want you to really take notice of is the amount of stainless and food, it's all food grade equipment that's being utilized. So those of you that are considering and, are interested in welding or design or like using CAD and AutoCAD for that automated drafting and design work, there's so much opportunity in regards to that at these locations, because all this, a majority of this is automated, and they require people that are good at programming, computers, all that to operate all this. So lots of opportunity for careers in ag that you don't typically think of when you ask somebody, hey, what do you do in ag? Well, a lot of times, they're not just out there working in the orchards. There's a lot of this other side of the industry that is really important. And I think Karen had mentioned the amount of growth that they've had. I feel like there's been a lot of change in our industry across the board in agriculture for things to become more automated. And, they're constantly being upgraded and the equipment is constantly changing. As you guys know, technology is changing so quickly. So lots of opportunity.
So the question was, how long does it take for a walnut to be processed? And from the time that they take a bin of in-shell walnuts and dump it into the big hopper where it's sized and everything, to the time that it's cracked out and it's in these bins here, is probably no more than 3 minutes.
Wow. That's amazing.
Maybe 5.
Wow.
Now that's very different than how long it takes from when it's harvested to when it's cracked out. That varies. They tend to leave the walnuts in shell until they're ready, because nature's packaging is actually the best. And so they'll leave them inside the shell in cold storage, until December, January, February, when then they're ready to be cracked out and packaged. So
and that's a really good point.
I was going to say the walnuts you see being cracked out right now were harvested back in, September.
Yeah, and kind of back to that, thinking about the, job consistency and the need for jobs year round in agriculture. Even though the harvest period is relatively short of them actually getting them off the trees and into these cold storage units, they are packaging. We'll have to ask Karen. I don't know if their facility runs 24 hours a day, but many of them, especially during those peak times, are really focused on getting this product out to consumers. And so there's lots of job stability in agriculture and in I think this industry, the nut industry in particular. And that's Karen just said that after the product is sized, it's hand sorted and checked by quality control. So while there are lots of things that are automated, everything a person actually does make sure that the equipment is operating correctly.
That part there where the walnuts are put into a box is so absolutely cool. It's like the walnuts are dumped in, it goes on to like a weigh thing where there's a person who's like, add a handful, take out a handful, make sure it's exactly the right size. And then it just keeps going and it's folded and taped, everything automatically. Even the boxes are built by a machine. It's amazing. I've seen it a bazillion times and it still amazes me.
Still amazes. And I'm assuming those ladies there were doing quality control, just checking, doing a double check that the product was what it was supposed to be going into those boxes. There's the palletizer. Yep.
That's one of the fanciest palletizers I've ever seen, actually.
We'll have to ask Karen how many cases, I wonder if she knows how many cases of walnuts that they do a day. Yeah. Awesome. Good question, Giovanni. We're going to have Karen answer that. Unless Jennifer, you might have a good answer for this. Are nuts seeds?
Technically, it's hard to say. It's kind of like a peach pit, right? Is that we have the outer hull, which is kind of like, you know, what you eat on a peach, and then inside is that, but then you crack that open and eat what's inside of that. So I've heard that technically they're a drupe, which is a type of fruit, but I would say yes. I mean, I would say they're a seed.
I'm gonna say, because without the actual nut inside, would it grow into a tree if you just had the, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's how we plant trees, is we get black walnuts and that's the root stock. And then you what do you call it? You graft on the varietal. And but yeah, you just take a walnut, it's still in its hull, and you pop that sucker in the ground and it grows a tree.
Okay, guys. Hi, sorry, that was really, really loud. I'll be able to answer more of your questions as soon as this through the employee break room and head upstairs to the lab. Can you guys still see me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
So
excellent. My face has been frozen on the same frame this whole time. So I'm not sure exactly what you're seeing, so I apologize. I'm really trying. So if you saw there was a bunch of different people in a bunch of different positions. So a lot of our product is, or machines and technology is automated, which means we just have machines and technology do it. But it takes people in specific areas to make sure that our product is the highest quality possible that goes out to the consumers. So the people that you saw towards the tail end of the whole process were checking for quality control. They were making sure everything on the machines were working properly. And you saw the forklift drivers that are nonstop. They are constantly moving product around, making sure the machines have enough product to process, to shell. And what you saw there was the shelling process, the nuts, the walnut in shell is sized. And then also when the shell is removed, the kernels are sized through laser sorters. They also pick up on color and defects as well. So we showed you where some of the product, the kernels start off bigger and they got smaller, if anybody noticed that. That is all part of what those lasers do. And then it's sent over per our customer's request, what product is put into the boxes. And then you saw that process where the boxes are made, product is filled, it goes through an X-ray machine, goes through QC to make sure the product is the highest quality possible. And then it goes onto a pallet where it's palletized, and then it's ready to go. So we're going to take you to a really, really awesome place. We have a lab here. So we test our walnuts for all kinds of things, mainly pathogens, to make sure that what product we send out there is not going to make anybody get sick. And again, we are so focused on the highest quality product that we felt it was important to put a lab into our system and or into our company. So this is pretty darn cool. I don't go in here very often because it scares me because there's so many things I could touch and break. But so we're going to visit with Mallory here in just one moment and take a look in the lab. So while we wait for her, is there any questions I could answer at the moment?
So we did have a couple questions.
Sure.
We were talking about how fancy your palletizer is.
Oh yeah.
So how many cases of walnuts do you guys pack in a day? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure on the case size, but we can do about 40,000 pounds in an hour. And so that is about 400,000 pounds in a day. I think that's right, because our days are quite long here.
Okay.
We have split shifts. So yeah, just basically
Okay.
it's a semi-load an hour that we're able to produce on those machines.
Wow, that's amazing. Thankfully, Jennifer, she was able to kind of narrate as we went
excellent.
through.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Because she seemed, yes, so that was excellent. That worked out really wonderful. And then we had a question from Orland.
Mhm.
How many walnuts are produced in a season? So do you know, I mean, obviously we could sort of do the math, but do you know how many walnuts you bring in
In a
during
season?
the harvest? Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different variables that determine how many walnuts will be per acre produced. So it changes year over year. There's a lot of different elements. Weather is a big one, fertilizer usage, bug infestation, the amount of water. So and heat. So there's a lot of different things that and also different varieties go in cycles. So you won't have a really big crop every year. It can be every third year you have a really big crop, like in Howard's. So it does change very often, just change year over year. So it's hard to say. Some orchards can get up to 4,000 pounds per acre. So if you do the math, that's very good. And some can produce higher, some are lower. It also depends on the age of the tree. Walnuts are in full production at 7 years. And up until that point, they're still babies and they're still growing. And then they can go all the way to 20 plus years. So we have some orchards that are like that. Our company itself, we have grown quite a bit since I've been here. Last year, we took in about 72 million pounds of walnuts. And we'll probably be looking at over 80 to 90 probably this year, depending on what the crop size, but we are also growing and continuing to grow on the grower side as well. So it's very exciting. We have lots of customers that can fulfill these. We can help fulfill their orders because of our size. And we are vertically integrated, so we can do a lot of things that make us unique. And by saying that, we grow, we process, we package, and then we also put on the trucks and deliver to our customers. So we're a one-stop shop, and it's been really great for us. So I think Mallory is ready. So we're going to go ahead and let her take it away.
Hi guys. My name is Mallory. I am going on my 4th harvest here at Andersen and Son Shelling. I started as the food safety administrator in 2018, and in 2019, within 6 months of my position, I got moved up to the manager's position. And about a year after that, we opened up our lab, which I had no experience in running a lab. So that was an interesting time. We got to do a lot of research and development on implementing and opening a lab. So backstory with me, I do not have a college degree. I did do some college classes, but I do not have a degree. I started with Kristen, who you guys met earlier, at an olive oil company in 2010. So I've worked in agriculture pretty much my whole life. And then came here in 2018 to work with Walnuts. So I've learned everything and have moved up through the different channels, I guess you could say, just with hard work, dedication, resourcefulness, being willing to just jump in and learn something new, and just being the best that I could be in the position at the time. So I'm going to take you through the lab really quick. We're on camera.
All right, guys. Here we go. For the record, I have no idea what this is. So this is Mallory's territory and Lulu's.
So we have a couple of different areas. So this section is where we're going to test for pathogens. So we test for Salmonella, Listeria, E. coli 0157, all in-house. Here at the end is where we would test for like aerobic plate count, coliforms. We do the Enterobacteriaceae. What else do we do over there? The generic E. coli. And then we do staph. Over here, we can test for aflatoxins, and then we test for moisture on this side, and then on the back side, we test for FFA and PBs, which are going to be for more of your quality indicators. So we try to do as much as we can in-house and not send stuff out because it ends up costing the company a lot of money when you're producing a lot of finished goods. So we have to do testing on every single finished goods lot that goes out our door. So we do it all within here.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Dana, do you have any questions for Mallory before we take off?
I guess my only question is, how many people do you have that work in the lab? Is there specific to each thing that you're testing for, or each process, certain people, or is it kind of the jack of all trades when you work in the lab?
So we have one full-time employee in the lab that does probably 90% of all of the lab work. And then I have 3 people that are trained to do lab work if needed. We need extra help during harvest and busy weeks. So we have a total of 4 people that can work in the lab, but in quality control and food safety throughout the entire plant, I have 22 employees within the food safety and quality control area, all the way from doing lab work to testing the product on the floor.
Excellent. Wow, that's a lot. That's great.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, Mallory. We're going to take off and we're going to head over to the next place. So pretty cool stuff. And I'll let everybody out. We're going to head on downstairs and that was a little much, and head over to our pasteurizer. So our pasteurizer I'll start. It's a 5-log system. It is steam and heat. Now, a lot of almonds, for example, is a great example. 100% of almonds have to be pasteurized. So typically when almonds were pasteurized, I'll meet you out here. Oh, excuse me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hello. So 100% of almonds have to be pasteurized. Typically, that used to be what they called PPO, polypropylene oxide. It's a chemical, kind of like jet fuel. So we listen to consumers, and I think we're one of 2 that do heat and steam treatment in California on the West Coast. So the great thing about our pasteurizer is we are certified to accommodate a variety of nuts. So we can use the steam and heat treatment on walnuts, cashews, hazelnuts. Anytime someone needs help, because everybody else is listening to the consumers as well, that they don't want jet fuel on their food, and they need another way of pasteurizing. So we've been getting a lot of business and getting our pasteurizer certified to accommodate all those different needs. So I'm waiting for Kristen to come pick me up, and then we're gonna head over there. While I am waiting, are there any other questions I could answer at this time?
Anybody have any questions? You're more than welcome to just unmute yourself and ask away.
So what we are going to see here, so we'll head into the pasteurizer. You'll see that we'll sanitize and get in there. And then we're going to head over to retail, and retail is very busy. We have a lot of people over there that are helping. Same idea, we'll have quality control, but then we have a lot of people well, I won't ruin it for you. I'll let you see it here in a second because it's more fun than hearing me talk.
So Karen, I do have a quick question.
Sure.
You said you guys have long hours. Are you open 24/7? Or is it seasonal? What type of?
We're open 24/7. So in order for our company to run efficiently and to have high quality, it starts off with the sanitation crew. So sanitation runs 24/7. We have a night shift and a day shift. And without them cleaning all the machines that were working hard during the day, we would start running into sort of pathogen issues, machines clogging up. It would decrease our efficiency, and it would keep Mallory extra busy and in a way that I don't think she would appreciate. So it starts off with sanitation, and we're always looking for people that are willing to be a part of these teams. It is hard work, but I know a lot of individuals that have started on sanitation, even some on the night crew, that have worked their way up to supervisor and management roles within the company. So lots of room to grow. You just have to get your foot in the door and tell us what you want, and we'll help you get there. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and go into the pasteurizer. By the way, guys, I love the pasteurizer because it always smells like fresh baked cookies. So there's that little caveat. It always smells like fresh baked cookies. And I know when they're running it or they're roasting, that's another thing the pasteurizer can do is we can turn up the heat and get like a roasted effect on our product, which is great. So it makes us a little more versatile. So you hear that beeping. It's already getting really warm in here because of it. So here we go. We'll flip you around. So straight ahead of us is the chiller. We'll show you the process, but the chiller is very key to have after we heat treat these walnuts in this product. So we don't put it into a shocked state. We're gonna go ahead and clean up here. So Kristen, I'm gonna let Kristen go first. And we have to be very clean whenever we go into extra clean pasteurizer. There's a lot of things happening. Gosh, it's been a little bit since I've been in here. On our website, I believe, or on our YouTube channel, we do have a video of the pasteurizer that you are more than welcome to check out. So okay. So what this is it's a sanitation process. Simultaneously, we are sanitizing our feet and then washing our hands. And what this does is it helps prevent listeria or any pathogens that might be tracked in through the outside into our production areas. I feel so clean. Great. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, here we go. It's loud in here.
So if you're noticing, those are almonds that they are running through it currently. So now we're headed to the chiller because that is a heat and steam process. And I think that potentially that could cause damage if they weren't chilled properly, but I'm sure she'll talk all about that. You're still muted, Karen. There you go.
You can hear me. It's still loud, not as loud as the pasteurizer, but this is the chiller. So once the product it goes through 2 chambers. It is heated up in an oven. That's what you saw the almonds going into. And then it goes into the steam. Once it's done that, the almonds are kind of in shock. So they need to go through a chiller and it gradually brings down their temperature to an ambient room temperature and keeps the integrity and the quality of the nut. Kristen made a good point. Almonds and cashews are the only ones that have to be 100% pasteurized. So there you go, little fun fact. We're gonna head over now to the retail line. It's one of my favorite areas. It's so fun to watch how this is operating. So hopefully they have something exciting for us to see. We'll head over there and see what we can find. Sorry, there's a lot of meat in my face, but yeah, let's go see the machine.
Those bags are headed towards Sam's Club.
You recognize that.
Yes, because Sam's Club has actually agreed. Andersen actually convinced them to put our logo on the front of pack. So we were really excited about that.
That's amazing. That's really exciting for you, for everybody. So I think, as for all the students, when you're, we saw the packages with Andersen and Sons logo on them, but most of these processors, they don't only pack for themselves. In the video, you saw that things can be custom packed. So They pack for a lot of the other, labels that you guys may see, like Jennifer just pointed out, Sam's Club. So a lot of those are just right here in our backyard. They're coming from.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people don't actually know where their food comes from. And we are so lucky here in California to have such amazing products right nearby.
I agree. I think that's probably one of the things I love most about our farm's leadership program is because even oftentimes people don't know that it comes from so close, even though they think, they might know where it comes from, they don't realize the opportunities that are right in, our own backyards. So it's pretty amazing how large scale operations are right here.
And while obviously I'm a fan of the Walnut, there's facilities like this all up and down the valley for a variety of commodity products. So if maybe you don't like nuts and you're like, I know I like fruit, we have oranges, we have strawberries, we have all kinds of stuff, cherries, apples, all kinds of stuff here in California.
All right, everyone. Thank you for your patience on that. But can you see how that is my favorite? It's like walking into Willy Wonka's factory because you see the nuts coming from that were in the pasteurizer, went over to the retail side, and then they go through the little scales. That's what you saw, those feeders that were opening and closing. And they weigh the exact amount that we need to put into the bags. And you saw the bags when we first walked in, that's what they're being filled with. So they get a little puff of air, we'll call it, and the walnuts dropped into the bags, and then it's sealed. Then everybody there helps on the line. They're helping put all the bags into boxes. Those boxes will be shipped, and you can find them in stores like Costco. So I'm not sure if that's exactly where those bags are going, but that's where a lot of our bags do. Oh, Sam's Club. Those are going to Sam's Club. So see, there's a few names that I'm sure you've all heard. While we're here, we're just going to show you, we're going to take a look at what happens after. So now we've seen, we can go right here. We have seen how they are packaged in bulk boxes. Now we've seen how we do packaging in the retail bags. We also do super sacks, which are just giant sacks that we have.
Oh, we must have lost
our loading dock.
Oh, there she comes.
And we can get 5 trucks in here at one time. And it is, when we're in peak season, we do probably 3 to 10 plus. I've seen more than 18 trucks lined up, ready to go in here at one time. And we are just very, very busy. One other little thing I wanted to tell you about the retail line, those bags, we do about 80 million bags a year. 80 million bags.
And growing.
Yes, and growing. Kristen is on that. She sees a lot of that because she is constantly creating new bag designs. And she works with the regulations on what needs to be put into bag, the logos, symbols. Her job is very intense and very detailed. We just passed Jennifer. She's in IT. She's waiting. She's ready to go home. And I work up with the IT, which is pretty great. We call it the Palace. But Jennifer actually started in sanitation. She has a degree, I think, from Chico State. Started in sanitation and is now in IT. Connection. all the details that make our company run is through IT. So I think this is where we say goodbye to Kristen. Thank you, Kristen, for being my chauffeur and for helping me. She was feeding me information as I go, because she's, since we've grown so much, I am a little out of, I forget how much we do. So now we're going to go upstairs. We're going to do our activities and have a little bit of fun, hopefully.
Excellent.
Thank you, Kristen.
So students, if you want to go grab your kits, if you don't have them handy, and if you can turn your video screens on, we would love to see everybody working on these together. That would be awesome.
I know we're running a little bit over time, but we can make this quick, I promise.
You're good. No,
Okay.
we got started a little late. That was my issue.
Oh, no worries.
We've lost a few for, you know, catching bus or, you know, doctor's appointments, but that's okay.
Absolutely. No problem. And I understand the time of the day too. So hopefully they'll be able to play a little bit with us a little bit later. So when everybody, I'm sure if you have your kits, go ahead and pull out this form. It says variety ID. So these are just a few of our varieties. They're some of our more popular, well-known varieties for different reasons. For example, we use Hartley's mainly as in shell because they do so well. And then when we ship overseas, that is usually the product that we use. So we're going to take about 5, maybe a few more minutes, but you'll see that to do this, you'll see that there's little bags, A, B, C, D through E. And each of those bags has a different product in it. So when we're doing in-shell grading, one of the key things that my graders have to know how to do is to identify, in case the product is labeled incorrectly, in case their product has been mixed with other nuts, which sometimes happens, they have to be able to know what each variety, the characteristics to each of these varieties. Now, I did the best I could to make these descriptions unique. And so I already congratulate all of you for trying, because this is going to be a little bit of effort. So I did throw in one that I think is a shoe-in. Once you read the descriptions, I think you'll understand. So go ahead, everyone. Take about 5 minutes. I'm going to let you look at these, label in the box A, B, C, D, or E that correlates with the variety description that you think that is. And then I will tell you what they are. So take a few minutes. And this would be a good time I just realized my cheat sheet is in my car, but I know what they are, so it's okay. Just take them, huh?
The true test.
Right. Gosh darn it. Maybe I'll buzz down there while we can talk. But is there any questions that Dana, that you'd like to talk about? Anything that you saw that you'd like me to discuss while everybody is doing this activity?
Well, honestly, you guys did such an excellent job. Here, so you kind of mentioned, I think walnuts are your primary nut that you focus on, you know, processing and packing.
That's correct.
Because that's probably what. Does Andersen and Sons grow any other nut varieties?
Oh, I think I lost. What was that question, Dana?
Does Andersen and Sons grow any other nut varieties, or do you only grow walnuts?
That's a great question. We also do almonds, and we do a little bit of pecans, some prunes, but our main focus is the walnuts. We actually do, and I wasn't able to show you today, we do have an almond line. So we actually handle and process almonds here as well. So our bread and butter is walnuts, but last year we did handle about 19 million pounds of almonds, which is pretty fantastic. So we are a very versatile company, and we continue to strive for that. So yeah, we see a need and we try to go for it.
And with you saying that you are one of 2 pasteurizers on the West Coast, you said that almonds and cashews are required to be pasteurized, but what other nuts do you have that get shipped to you for pasteurization and packaging? Is there any kind of unique things that you see come across through there just for your pasteurizer?
I think one of the most unique nut commodities that we see come through here is the hazelnuts. I believe those come down from Oregon. Jennifer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe those come from Oregon, and they definitely have a unique smell, which is delicious because I love hazelnuts. One of the other things, now that you're getting my mind thinking a little bit more and I can hear you, is we didn't get to show you some of our other things that we do, which is really exciting. We have the capabilities of flavoring nuts here as well. So we can do like a chocolate flavor or a wasabi and soy flavor. And then they go to the retail line and they're packaged in bags. We do a lot of co-packing. So that's pretty unique. We also, and some customers that we co-pack for, that is, they'll send us their product, they'll send us their bags, we set it up in our machines, and we can do it all for them and get it distributed. So we offer a wide array of all kinds of things. And I wish I could show you more of them, but yeah.
I know, next year. So those of you students that are in Firms Leadership this year, I know that everything's been virtual, but next year, hopefully we will be in person, and Karen can, either through Firms Leadership or through Firms Advanced, you can participate again and we can see things in person. So, all right, students, you should be done with your varietal decision making.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna have Dana show the hands and see how many people, how well we did. So I'm going to read off the order of which the product is, and then I'll see how many people got 1, 2, 3, etc., and go from there. So to start off, the Tulare variety is E, bag E. Okay, the Hartleys were bag C. The Chandlers were bag A. Livermores, which those are the fun ones, are bag D. And the Howards were bag B. So how many people got 2 of those right? Quite a few.
Use your reactions, put your hand up.
Thank you. Okay, so how many people got 3 right?
Nice, Kelly. I see your hand. Good job.
Okay, how about 4? Okay, and 5. Did anybody get 5?
Nice. Who got 5?
I'm impressed because you're hired.
So whoever asked if they ever offer job shadows or internships, how about just an actual job, summer job? Yes.
You know, one of the greatest things to see if you are, if this company and this industry is for you, is to come work during harvest. They are, we do ask for hard hours, long hours, because it is harvest, and we're, you know, over 70 million pounds of walnuts, over 19 million pounds of almonds, but it is a great way to get into different positions to see if this is the company you want to work for, or you see another position you desire. And a lot of our people that have done very well during the harvest season, because that is usually a temporary part-time position, we absorb and they become a full-time employee. So it is the best way to get your foot in the door. It's also the best way to see if this is for you. So just keep that in mind. So yes, I'll keep, how many people got the Livermore right? How obvious was that? Because I mean, they're really unique. They're red. They almost look like a brain. But what's neat about the Livermores is they actually have to be hand cracked because the customer doesn't want to see that skin peeled. And so those are very challenging to process when you have to hand crack thousands and thousands of pounds of those. So anyways, we're going to move right along because I know we're on a time frame and we're a little bit over our time. So this one, I want you to take, this is going to be a speed event. So we're going to time this. We're going to do a speed event. I want everybody to flip their page over for their kernel ID, and you'll see a color chart on the bottom of the page. You'll see there's light or extra light, light amber, and amber. USDA only recognizes extra light, and light amber as edible good meats. So those are the only ones that when we are grading and inspecting the walnut quality, those are the colors that we'll pay the grower on. So there's that. You'll also see that there is a kernel defect page. Go ahead and take a quick look at that. So these are 4 of the main defects that we really look for. There's a few other things too, but these are the big, real obvious ones. You have shrivel, rancid, insect, and mold. So go ahead and take a look at those. What we're going to do is a little bit of in-shell grading is what we call it. So during harvest, I have a team of about 8 to 9, sometimes 10 people, and we will size like you saw, but we'll hand size each nut for their different sizes. And then we will hand crack out 100 of these nuts. We will put them in color order, and then we'll also from light to dark, and then we'll also put all the defects in order and together, and that way we can see on a tray of 100 nuts what this product represents for the entire load. So go ahead and draw a rectangle on the top of that page. So right here, I want you to do a rectangle. Then we're going to draw one horizontal line right through the middle. Okay. You see it okay? And then I'm going to make 2, 3. Okay, 5 vertical lines. So you'll end up with 10 squares. Okay. So once you get your 10 squares, go ahead and pull out the 10 in-shell walnuts. Put on your safety glasses because I'm not going to be responsible for anyone getting shell in their eye. Yeah, we definitely safety first, and grab your hammer. When everybody is, and make sure you're on a surface that if you accidentally miss and hit your mom's like kitchen table and make a dent, that we won't get in trouble. So you might want to walk outside, go onto the concrete, or somewhere that we can smash these guys and no one's going to get in trouble. So one of the key things that we need to do when you are opening the walnuts is it's really fun to just whack them and they explode. They literally do. But we want to keep the integrity of the kernel. So as part of an in-shell grading, you have to be very careful that you don't disintegrate the entire kernel, because it's very difficult to judge the quality on it if you do that. So as you're doing this, try to think about how you can keep the kernel together as much as possible. Then once you crack open your nut, if it's an extra light kernel or a light or an extra light kernel, you're going to put that in the top. And then if they're all lights, you'll continue on the top row. If they start getting darker, you put those on the next row. And then any of your defects will go in the last few boxes. So you'll be doing a lot of, it's like a puzzle. You'll be moving different products around from box to box to box. So that is totally okay. Then we expect that. And so it'll look like an ombre effect. So from light to dark to defects. So when everybody is ready, I think you guys are ready. We're gonna get started here in just 1 second. Okay. You ready, Dana?
I'm
Or do you
ready. I hope that their hammers work because they have little wooden like dowel, like hammers for, so we'll see. But
They
if
should.
if
Nice.
I want you, those students that if you're struggling with your hammer, I want you to take your activity home and I want you to send me a picture of what it looked like when you got it all cracked out.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, so what we'll go ahead and do is get started. I'm going to give you all 5 minutes to crack these
Yeah,
open.
we probably only have a couple more minutes, Karen, because we're already hitting on 4 o'clock.
So how, go ahead and maybe take this activity offline. Go ahead and send Dana the picture. I'm going to send her a picture of what a really good tray of 100 nuts cracked out looks like. And this is a position that we're always hiring every year, by the way. And you get to be a part of my team. And then a lot of my employees that expressed interest to continue on with the company. We actually had one in retail. She was waving. I don't know if you saw her waving. But she is one of my employees. She actually comes back to me every year, and she solely does the sizing of the nuts. So anyways, we'll go ahead and do that. It is a fun activity. You can take it outside and not hit the table or the countertop and break something. So take it outside, do it on the concrete, wear your safety glasses, please. And send Dana those pictures because I really want to see how you did.
Absolutely. That was so wonderful, Karen. Oh my goodness. Does anybody have any additional questions as we wrap this up? I really appreciate everybody sticking with us. It was a really great day. You got to see so much. And I'm sure if any questions come to mind after this, feel free to reach out to me. You guys have my email, cell phone, whatever, and I can pass those questions on to Karen, and we can get those answers back to you. But again, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you, Karen. Thank you to all your team. I know this was not an easy task to do this virtually. And thank you, Jennifer, for joining us and participating and talking to us about the Walnut Board and Commission. It was really lovely to have you. And I look forward to, continuing this with future years of the program. So
thank you, everyone. And hopefully I get to see some faces in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hope everybody has a great day.
Take care. Bye.